So you want to be an Evan. So you want to be a Dragon Master who uses both your own magic as well as your dragon's magic. Well, then you've come to the right class. In first job though, you only have your own magic. So you have this skill, but it's a little bit weaker. It's called Mana Burst 1. The current version that I have is the final version, the fourth job version. Sorry, I'm not getting a SP reset. Give me 1 second to do this. Yay, 5th job advancement, woo! Anyway. So you also get teleport, and Evan's teleport is actually kind of nice. It's very fast, it goes very far. The only problem with it is that you can't use it in the air. So basically, in second job they give you a skill that kind of makes up for that, but not really. And I'll show you when we get to it. Magic Guard just takes a lot of the damage brings the damage to your MP instead of your HP. Magic Link is just a passive. Alright, so second job. You get the upgraded version of Mana Burst. Like I said, mine is the final. Wind Circle is your first elemental magic skill. It allows you to push enemies back. And, yeah, that's about it. So Dragon Flash is Myrrh or Mir. I don't know which one I want to call him. I'll probably switch between calling him Myrrh and Mir in the video. But it's his first attack, and it allows him to go back and forth 6 times while doing damage to enemies that are in his way. Now, if you use the way that you use Wind Flash, if it has a little F on the bottom right of it, it means that it's a fusion skill. And what that means is, if you use, let's say, Dragon Flash, and then in the middle of Dragon Flash, use Wind Circle, he now turns his Dragon Flash into a new attack called Wind Flash, which seeks out enemies and throws blades at them. I guess I'll explain return first. So, in the middle of Mir attacking, if you press return, he'll return to you instantly, but also, if you have points added into the return skills like Return Flash, after using Dragon Flash, if you press return, he'll then put a debuff on enemies, making you deal 10% final damage to enemies that are debuffed. So I'll try to do that here. So these 2 enemies have been debuffed, so I can do 10% final damage to them. Booster just increases your attack speed. This is the skill that I was talking about, where they try to make it so that you don't need to be able to use teleport in the air. It gives you a vertical jump, and I don't really like it. I mean, it goes really high, don't get me wrong, it's useful, but I'd rather be able to teleport left and right after the jump, because let's say I want to get to the platform up here, and then I do the vertical jump, but oh, I missed it! Then I can't do anything but go under it and then do that. Anyway, it's my problem, it's not a problem with whatever. I'm just rambling. So, passively, this skill, Partners, will give you 30% knockback resistance. But when Mir is attacking, Evan, your character, your damage is increased by 20%. So let's say I have him attacking over there and I attack, I get my damage increased. And the rest are passive. In third job, you get Thunder Dive. Wait, no, not Thunder Dive. Where is it? Well, I mean, you do get it, but you know what I mean. Well, I guess I'll start with this one first. Mana Burst 3, of course, it's the upgraded version of your regular attack. Thunder Circle is your new elemental attack for Evan. And it just summons lightning down to hit enemies around you. Has a pretty good hitbox on it. And, yeah. And then Mir also gets a new elemental attack called Earth Dive, which allows him to just thrash around on the floor, making earth spikes pop up. It's pretty nice. But this has to be my favorite return, because it increases your attack speed of you and your party members. So if you press return, your attack speed is now higher. Alright, now we can get into it. Thunder Dive. If you use Earth Dive, and then you use the Thunder skill, it becomes Thunder Dive, which sends out little electricity balls, hello mechanic, that do damage to enemies that get hit by it. It's pretty nice. I don't really find it useful for bossing, but for training, it's alright. I mean, I don't really use it ever. Thunder Flash. So remember the Flash skill, the wind one? Where he just goes back and forth? If you use Thunder in the middle of that, he goes into like whatever that thing's called. Hexagram? I don't know. So it turns into that. And for every point of it, it does damage. So if I were to do it right there, it does damage at all of these spots at the corners. So that's probably only going to hit that one spot. And it's pretty good for bossing. I wouldn't really say it's the best boss. Oh, maybe it is. If you can hit all 5 points, then yes, it is the most powerful out of all your skills. For bossing, anyway. Magic Debris. So, as you've noticed, there's these little crystal things that appear. And that's every time you do an attack, pretty much. Oops, I just used a 4th job skill. And, yeah, so for every little thing, if you press the Magic Debris skill, it'll then fly out and hit enemies around you. So there's like 4 right here. So when I press it, they fly around and hit enemies. I don't really use it though. I don't know when you should be using it. I didn't do enough research. Let's see, what else do we got? Critical Magic. Okay, I think that's about it. So, oh, by the way, this is another active skill, but I don't think it's that great. So, 4th job. In 4th job, you get your final version, which is the version that I'm using. You can actually like teleport to extend it, but I wouldn't recommend that because the first hit does 4 lines and the second hit does 4 lines. So you'd be like missing out on damage, kind of. Because you're not doing 8 lines to one enemy, you're doing 4 to 2, or multiple. So you get Earth Circle, which is your elemental attack for 4th job. It's pretty high, hits multiple platforms. I like it. Dragon Breath. This is Mir's, 4th job elemental skill. It's very nice, very strong also. Yeah, I like it a lot. Wind Breath. This skill actually isn't all that great. All you have to do is just use the wind attack, and it turns into Wind Breath. I didn't really find it all that useful. It's useful later on when you're bossing and an enemy's HP is below 30%. Unless you have the Hyper in, and then it's below 35%. But I'll get to that when we get to it. Earth Breath. When this skill was first announced, I thought it was the most broken thing ever. But after using it, I don't think it's all that broken. Oops, I used the wrong skill. And I just used Return. Anyway, so use Fire, and then you use the new Earth skill you just got. And for every enemy that's caught within his area of, like, his targeting area, will be hit with it. And it's pretty nice. I'll probably show you later on how good it can be. Because this map it might be a little too weak for me. When using Return after he does Fire, any of his fire moves, Fire Breath, Fire or Wind Breath, or Earth Breath, if you press Return, it'll leave flames on the floor, dealing damage to enemies that touch it. Earth Dive. This is my favorite of all the bossing skills. Because if you use it, it hits, Mir runs into 3 different pillars of, like, Earth. And I haven't actually tested how many hits it does if you hit all 3. But it does a lot of damage. It's really good. Dark Fog, I don't really use it. It's like your AoE attack. It also allows Magic Debris... let me see. Yeah, it allows Magic Debris to do more damage. 20% more damage. Also, when you use it, it just has a 20%... The attack itself has a 20% higher crit rate. This is a buff, it just gives you 80 attack, which is nice. Maple Warrior, enhanced magic thing. Let's see. So this skill, while Mir is attacking, will give you 70% knockback resistance. So no matter what attack he's doing, as long as you have this buff up here, you get 100% knockback resistance. Let's see. And I think that's about it. I just got 5th job, so I'll do that in another video. So now we'll go into hypers. For hyper skills, what I did was speedy for all of Mir's attacks, like the flash, earth, and or flash, dive, and breath, because you want to be able to use all 3 of those skills as quickly as possible. I also put a point into the earth dive, giving it more damage. And finally, I put into wind breath. Now, when you use wind breath and an enemy's HP is not that high, it's not that good. But with this hyper put in, when an enemy's HP is below 35%, you get a lot more damage. So it's very good to use when an enemy's HP is low. And then active hypers. Oh, I don't have points put into them. Alright, so at 150, you get Onyx Dragon. And when you summon him, he just attacks enemies that are around him. And your abnormal status is increased. And I think that's about it for him. I mean, he's just a summon that does damage. It's not too bad. He also turns around and attacks enemies. So that's good. Now, this is the one that I really like. You actually hop onto Mir, and I'm sorry, I love that. I love the face when I get hit. It's just, I love it. So, when you activate it, you can fly around, and you're invincible while you're flying around. And if you hold down the key again, the same key, you do a lot of damage. So I'll probably show you this during bossing. And that's about it for the skills. I also realized that I forgot to show mobbing. So here goes. Now you can either do what I like to do and just use the earth skill over and over, along with either fire or earth dive. Earth dive mainly for the what's it called? The buff that it gives. But I use the earth magic because it hits 2 platforms compared to if I use magic circle or mana. What was it called? Mana burst. Yeah, mana burst. So it's really up to you how you want to do it. I just choose to mob using the earth attack instead of using mana burst. But it's completely up to you. But as you can see, that towering fire thing hits all 3 platforms. It's really easy to train. And I guess if you're strong enough, you can also use the wind attack. I'm not strong enough, so I don't really use it. I'd rather just switch between the 2 earth attacks. And that's pretty much the 4th job mobbing. I'm sure someone else is better at it and can tell me exactly how to do it, but until then, that's how I'm going to show it. Evan's bossing, it's pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know if people are saying it's bad or anything like that, but Evan's bossing is alright. Unless you get stunned, like I just did. So, I want to use Dragon Dive? Something like that. Because, this is a very tall boss. Sorry, I'm like focusing on fighting. And because this is a tall boss, all of the hits from Thunder Dive are going to hit, making it a very, very good skill. And because his HP is below 35%, I can use that. I'm not a very good Evan player, but I'm sure you're maybe getting the idea. Maybe not. I'm not very good at explaining Evan. Evan was actually... how do I put it? I knew Evan was going to be the hardest one for me to explain because of all the skills and fusions they have to do. So, when fighting Von Leon, because he's so tall, if I use this skill, then all of those hits will connect, making it do a lot of damage. The second strongest attack would be this one. And then after that, it's really up to you. You could just leave that, the Fire Breath, or of course if their HP is below 35%, you can change it into the Wind one. So I thought I'd show another boss, just because Von Leon is so different, you know? I also wanted to show off the 170 Hyper, because I didn't do that against Von Leon. So enjoy the 170 Hyper. It is an amazing attack. Leaves you invincible, and it does a lot of damage. Here we go. One of them survived because they did magic cancel. But yeah, as you can see, amazing. Amazing, amazing skill.